The Magic School Bus Chapter Book. Color Day Relay. Introduction. Hi, my name is Ralphie. I'm one of the kids in Ms. Frizzle's class. Maybe you've heard of Ms. Frizzle, sometimes we just call her the Frizz. She is a terrific teacher, but a little strange. One of her favorite subjects is science, and she knows everything about it. The Frizz takes us on lots of field trips in the magic school business. Believe me, it's not called magic for nothing. We never know what will happen once we step on board that bus. Ms. Frizzle likes to surprise us, but we can usually tell when she is planning a special lesson. How? We just look at what she's wearing. So when the Frizz announced that our class would be having color day, we expected her to show up in a colorful outfit. But we never expected the rainbow of surprises she had up her sleeve. Just wait until you hear about our color day adventures. It wasn't just fun, it was brilliant. Chapter 1. Hurry, Ralphie, hurry, I muttered to myself. Go, go, go! I raced up the school steps, out of breath. It was past 8:30. Any minute the school bell would ring. Any minute I would be late. Again. BRR ring. Oh, no. I sighed. There was nothing I could do now. I was late, absolutely, positively late, for the second time this week. I really had wanted to be on time today. It was color day. I wasn't sure what that meant, but it sounded like fun. And now I might miss it. I pulled open the heavy door and stepped inside the school lobby. I should have woken up earlier. I should have jumped out of bed as soon as Mom called me. But no. I pulled the covers over my head and went back to sleep for 10 minutes. Then I ate cereal, toast, and a banana, and got dressed. I was all ready to head out when my mom offered me some blueberry pancakes. So I had a little more breakfast. Then I remembered something else, too. My new red baseball cap. I wanted to wear it today. I finally found it at the bottom of a pile of bats, balls, and gloves. Goodbye, Mom. I called. I plopped the hat on my head, grabbed my backpack, and ran outside. Immediately, I ran back in. Lunch. I forgot to bring lunch. In fact, I had to pack it, too. Now, at last, in the school lobby, I stopped to catch my breath. The halls were empty. I was probably the last kid to get to school. Again. I walked as quickly as I could to my classroom. The room was dark. I was so late, everyone must have left. Miss Frizzle had taken the class on some great field trip, leaving me behind. Suddenly, the light flipped on. A window shade snapped open. I blinked. Everyone was still here. Liz, the class lizard, stood on a chair by the light switch. Ms. Frizzle was adjusting the window shades. Oh, Ralphie. The Frizz sounded happy to see me. I'm glad you saw my little demonstration for Color Day. Color Day? I repeated, confused. I hadn't expected Color Day to involve sitting around in the dark. At my old school, we had relay races and contests on Color Day, Phoebe said. We never played with the lights. The Frizz laughed. Well, Phoebe, you need color to have Color Day. And in order to see color, you need to have light. I sat in my seat and thought this over. I felt excited about Color Day. But the light part of it? I didn't understand the connection. Other kids felt the same way. Wanda raised her hand. What do you mean, Ms. Frizzle? That if a light isn't shining on something, it doesn't have any color? Dorothy, and we call her DA, poked her head out from behind a pile of books. That seems right to me, she said. When Liz turned off the lights, everything in the room looked dim and dark. Everything lost its color. From the desk of Ms. Frizzle. Light transfers energy in the forms of brightness and heat. Natural sources of light include the sun, other stars, and fire. I had never thought much about color before. Something was a certain color, like my red baseball cap, and that was that. But I realized DA was right. Even if you see shapes in the dark, you can't tell what colors they are until you turn on a light. But the whole thing was a little confused. I twisted my baseball cap in my hands. So my cap isn't really red until light hits it? It needs light to be red? Absolutely light, right, Ralphie. Ms. Frizzle said. Our eyes don't see it as red when there isn't any light. Don't worry. If that seems confusing now, we'll explore it further during color day. Keisha gazed at the sunlight streaming through the window. Then she looked up at the ceiling light. Are you saying that light has color in it? It doesn't look colorful to me, it looks white. Or colorless. Correct, said the Frizz. Light rays all look the same. Some would say white. Some would say colorless. But sunlight is really made up of all colors. Red, blue, green, and the rest. Sunlight, Sunbright, by Keisha, light traveling in a straight line from the sun, a flashlight, or another source is called a ray. So how does this color thing actually work? Asked Arnold. But please don't turn off any more lights. Ms. Frizzle stepped over to me. She flipped my cap onto her own head. When light hits Ralphie's cap, she explained, the baseball cap absorbs almost all the colors in white light. Bright white light, by Tim, what color is sunlight? To our eyes, it appears colorless. But every ray of sunlight contains all the colors in the visible spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. These colors combine to make what scientists call white light. Absorbs? Wanda repeated. Like a sponge absorbs water? Yes. It soaks the light right up, Miss Frizzle went on. Except for red. The cap reflects the red light. Red light bounces off the cap, so the baseball cap looks red. Ms. Frizzle put the cap back on my head. Now I couldn't see it at all, and I couldn't see what she was getting at either. Ms. Frizzle, I began. Knock, knock. I didn't get any further. Someone was knocking. Tim opened the classroom door. But no one was there. Knock, knock. It's coming from outside, said DA. At first I didn't see anything. Suddenly, a bright light flashed. Then I saw a man. He was sitting on a branch in the big oak tree near the window. Well, hello, said Miss Frizzle in a delighted voice. She opened the window. Class, this is my friend Dr. Roy G. Biv. Dr. Biv stepped from the branch, right into our classroom. Dr. Biv? I thought. This guy didn't look much like a doctor, or a scientist for that matter, a crazy one. He wore a referee uniform instead of the usual black and white stripes. His stripes were all different colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, and he was wearing sunglasses. Inside. Why didn't he come through the door? I whispered to Keisha, like any ordinary friend of Miss Frizzle's. Ralphie, Keisha whispered back, you know Miss Frizzle doesn't have any ordinary friends. Dr. Biv is an expert on light, the Frizz explained. Okay, I thought. So that explains why he came in through the sunny window instead of the dark hallway. But still, he appeared kind of suddenly. And really, in that outfit he didn't look much like an expert on anything. Dr. Biv has agreed to help out with Color Day, Ms. Frizzle continued. He'll run all the challenges and events. And he'll be the ref. Just then Dr. Biv blew a referee whistle. Surprised at the noise, I jumped. Dr. Biv looked at me and raised his eyebrows. Great. I had already made a lousy impression on the ref. We were just talking about white light, the Frizz told Dr. Biv, and how it's made up of all the colors. Dr. Biv nodded. He reached into his pocket and pulled out some kind of object. Does anybody know what this is? He asked. It looks like a glass pyramid, Keisha volunteered. This is not an ordinary pyramid, Dr. Biv said. His voice boomed and echoed around the room. It's called a prism. Da looked up from her book. What does it do? She asked. All the Light Moves, by Carlos Isaac Newton, was the first scientist to discover the connection between color and light. In 1664, he passed a beam of sunlight through a prism, then noted how the light spread into different colored rays. He passed these light rays through another prism, and they turned back into white light. His discovery? Color comes from light. Watch. Dr. Biv held the prism up to the window. Sunlight streamed into the prism on one side, and all the colors of the rainbow streamed out the other side. A whole band of colors that looked like a rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, Dr. Biv declared. Phoebe sighed. That's so pretty. But how does the prism separate white light into all those colors? I asked. The prism bends the light each color at a different angle so we get to see them all, the Frizz explained. I shook my head, confused. In a way, I understand. But in a way, I don't. Ms. Frizzle said, Don't worry, Ralphie. We'll learn more about prisms and colors as we go through our Color Day activities. Everything will be crystal clear by the end of the morning. Dr. Biv blew his whistle even louder. Let the games begin, he cried. Games! I stood up, excited. Color Day, here we come. Chapter 2. We all filed out the classroom door into the hallway. I was first in line. Me, Ralphie, late is my middle name, first. What a great start for Color Day. I figured we'd be going to the school field, so I turned right. But Ms. Frizzle led everyone the other way. Aren't we going outside? I hurried after the class, last again. I was even behind Dorothy Ann, who was carting around a bunch of books. Expect the unexpected, Ralphie, Ms. Frizzle said. She ushered us into the gym. We all stood around, not knowing what was next. The Frizz looked us over. Now we'll divide the class into teams. Perhaps Dr. Biv could do the honors. Of course! Now Dr. Biv looked us over. He polished his glasses so they gleamed. Then he stared at each and every one of us hard. Arnold squirmed, turning red. You! Dr. Biv said, pointing at him. You're on the red team. He paused. Along with. He noted DA's books, all with red covers. Her. And. His gaze stopped at me. You, with the red baseball cap. My heart sank. Me, DA, and Arnold a team. Color Day is all about racing and being fast. Arnold is afraid to do anything quickly. DA is loaded down by books. And me? Well, I'm always late or last for everything. The red team didn't stand a chance. Liz, of Tim and Phoebe with course were on the green team. Wanda, Keisha, and Carlos were on the blue team because they all wore blue jeans. Asked. Ready for the first race? Ms. Frizzle ready, the blue and green teams shouted. DA, Arnold, and I just looked at one another. I call this first race White Lightning, Dr. Biv said. You will need to move lightning quick. Ms. Frizzle pointed out baskets filled with flashlights lined up along the gym wall. Each team has a basket of flashlights to use to make white light. The first team to shine white light on this big sheet near Dr. Biv wins. All we have to do is race to our basket and turn on a flashlight? I whispered to DA Easy. Ready, said Dr. Biv. We crouched into starting position, ready to take off. Set. Everyone crouched lower. Go! Ms. Frizzle dimmed the ceiling lights. We raced toward the baskets. Over here! I shouted to DA and Arnold. I pulled out a flashlight. I switched it on. Oh, no! It had a red light bulb, not a white one. DA pulled out another flashlight. Green light. Arnold pulled out a third. Red again. What should we do? All around us, teams were having the same problem. They were shining yellow lights, purple lights, blue lights. Hey, where are the regular ones? Keisha called out. If you mean white light flashlights, there may be some in the baskets, Dr. Biv said. Or maybe not. You'll have to search, the Frizz explained, or think about our classroom discussion. DA snapped her fingers. That's it, she whispered. If we get all the colors we saw in the prism and shine them at one spot, that will make white light. We sorted through the baskets. In no time, we had red, orange, yellow, green, blue, a really dark shade of blue that DA called indigo, and a light purple. I think that's it, said DA. I sneaked a peek at the other teams. They were going through their baskets, flicking on flashlights, turning off flashlights. Liz had even jumped inside a basket. They were all still searching for regular flashlights, I guessed. If we hurried, we could win. I'll bunch these lights together and shine them on the sheet, I said. Wait! There's too many for you to hold. Arnold reached to take a flashlight. We'll do it together. But I was in too much of a hurry to wait. I charged toward the sheet. Oh, I dropped a flashlight. I bent to pick it up and dropped two more. DA and Arnold scurried over to help. Got it! Tim cried. I looked up. He was shining a white light flashlight against the sheet. He'd found one. Green team wins, said Dr. Biv. But we were so close. Arnold wailed. Yes. The Frizz nodded. She scooped up all my dropped flashlights. Then she wound a big rubber band around them and flashed their lights against the sheet. White light. Then Dr. Biv walked over carrying just 3 flashlights, a red one, a green one, and a blue one. When he shone them at the sheet, their colors combined to make white light, too. My mouth dropped open in surprise, but the Frizz was nodding as if she had expected red, green, and blue light to make white. Primary Colors of Light, by Ralphie. The primary colors of light are red, green, and blue. That means these colors can be used to make all other colors. The 3 primary colors together make white. P.S. To D.A. and Arnold, I'm sorry I tried to hold all those flashlights at the same time. If I had known about the primary colors, I could have just used those 3. You were close, Red Team, Ms. Frizzle told us. Good thinking. Any points for good thinking? I asked. Dr. Biv shook his head no. Scorecard, Red Team, 0, Blue Team, 0, Green Team, 1. Dr. Biv took the flashlight from Tim. He placed it on a bench, along with 2 more white light flashlights. Then he blew his whistle. Quick now! 1 person from each team. Run for a flashlight and shine it on something that's your team color. He blew his whistle again for us to go. My baseball cap. I could use that. I took off, along with Carlos from the blue team and Phoebe from the green team. We reached the bench at the same time. I switched on the light, pointing it at my head. But where was my red cap? It was gone. This race had nothing to do with science or quick thinking, and I was still going to lose. X in a flash, Carlos shone his light on his jeans. Blue team is the winner, announced Dr. Biv. Here's your cap, Arnold said, bringing it over to me. You were in such a hurry, Ralphie, you didn't realize it fell off while you were running. Scorecard, Red Team, 0, Blue Team, 1, Green Team, 1, how unlucky can you get? I muttered. It's not like Carlos's pants are going to fall off. Carlos laughed. Don't kid yourself, Ralphie. It's not luck, it's speed, Carlos bragged. I'm so fast, I bet I can go faster than the speed of light. The Frizz clapped her hands. Brilliant idea, Carlos. You can race your flashlight. Race my flashlight? Carlos repeated. Certainly. Phoebe, the Frizz said, you can be our target, please. Ms. Frizzle directed. Carlos to stand next to Phoebe. Then she sent me to the other end of the gym. When I say go, Ralphie, you shine the flashlight on Phoebe. And you, Carlos, reach out and touch Phoebe's shoulder. We'll see who or what will reach Phoebe first, Carlos or the light. I had to show Carlos he wasn't super speedy. I couldn't mess up. Ready, said Dr. Biv. Set. Go. I flicked on the light. Instantly, a white circle lit Phoebe's shirt. Carlos reached out, but he was too late. Why Carlos Lost, by Wanda. Light travels approximately 186,000 miles per second, 299,300 kilometers per second. Light moves faster than anything, even sound. That's why you see lightning before you hear thunder. Sorry, Carlos, the Frizz said. Nothing moves faster than light. Since Carlos lost, does the red team get a point? I asked. Dr. Biv shook his head. The flashlight won, not the red team, Ralphie. The speed of light is a law of light. No points. Scorecard, red team, 0, blue team, 1, green team, 1, flashlight, 1, okay, Carlos grumbled, so I lost to a flashlight. What other color day races are we going to do in the gym? The Frizz laughed. Color day? In this dark gym? Lighten up, Carlos. We're going to the sun. Chapter 3. Everyone raced to the magic school business this way, red team, I called, leading Da and Arnold to the back of the bus. No one would bother us there. We could discuss our strategy to win. The blue team sat together in the front. Green was in the middle. Ms. Frizzle took her place behind the wheel. Dr. Biff sat right behind the Frizz. He bent his head, polishing his already shiny whistle. Get ready for blastoff. Ms. Frizzle